Palestinian protests continue all across the country. Locally, students at another school are joining the cause now. Hear their message for their university as the war in Gaza continues.
Also this morning, people who live in Groton are speaking up after they were told to get out of their home even though they've paid rent. The changes they want to see at the Capitol to prevent this from happening.
And festivities resume after a threat at a carnival in Milford. But there are new precautions being taken. What you need to know before you head out.
All local, all morning. This is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good Monday morning at 6 o'clock. We're glad you're getting your new day and your new week started with us. I'm Erica Arias.
And I'm Keith McGilvery. You're grateful. We are grateful you are here. We had some great weather over the weekend.
We did. Great day yesterday for the Yard Goats and a great win. I don't know if you heard.
Yes, the Yard Goats picked up a W. Bushnell Park, the superhero 5K for Connecticut Children's was going on. So there's a lot going on in a lot of communities. We'll share pictures throughout the morning. Will it continue? I know that it's going to warm up. I had a bit of a sneak peek from Rachel Piscatelli earlier, Matt. It's going to feel a little bit like summer, maybe?
Today was the day, right?
Today is the pick of the week temperature-wise. Is I'm not feeling well. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe you and me both.
Maybe we should
Half
go.
day?
Maybe all quarter day. Can we go to 8 a.m. and call it a day? No, they're going to make us stay the whole thing. It's a beautiful start to the work week. Summer-like temperatures on the way. Few showers moving in tonight. We'll keep them in there for Tuesday and Wednesday, and that'll settle down the temperatures a little bit. A little bit of fog out there. I checked the visibility a moment ago. Willimantic at 2 miles. That's the worst, so it's okay. But a couple of clouds out there. It's a beautiful morning with the winds that are starting to shift from the northwest to the west a little bit, and there's nothing on the horizon. Mild temperatures, you tell me. Look at Waterbury with our lucky 61, 56 in Hartford, 66 out of the gate in New Haven. What is going on? The heat is on. A few clouds in there, but temperatures getting into the upper 70s. We make a run at 80 degrees. A little cooler at the shoreline by a good few degrees. So if you're watching us from New Haven to New London and points in between, you're going to go 80. I don't feel 80. You'll get it. Don't worry. Coming up, we'll talk about the work week forecast. We'll time out that rain too coming up in a bit. Right now, good morning to Piscatelli. Like where it's too casual. Good
Strictly last names.
Yeah,
only.
yo, Pisk. What's going on?
Yo, what's up?
Good morning, Rachel.
Hey, good morning, Matt. Thank you so much. You cut some tulips for me. Matt and I were in on Saturday. We were talking about that, and I have some beautiful tulips now. Thank you. All right, 6:02, almost 6:03 right now. A nice start to the morning, and in terms of the commute, it also looks okay as well. We do have some road work still out there now. This should be wrapping up momentarily. 84 westbound over in West Hartford, exit 40 through about 47. A live look outside over Hartford now, out by exits 31 and 32 A and B, running smoothly into downtown now with volume that is light. Over in New Haven, earlier road work northbound 91 from 8 to 9. That has wrapped up. Volume is rather light in that area here at 6:03. Keith and Erica, back to you.
All right, thank you to that. Rachel, want to talk about breaking news this morning in East Granby. As you take a look here, police investigating robberies at 2 gas stations on Rainbow Road. So this is the Pride gas station. State police got the call for a robbery at about 3:25 or so this morning. Just a minute later, troopers got a call for another robbery at the Cumberland Farms 1 block away. No injuries reported in either situation. We're working this from our newsroom this morning. As we learn anything new, we will bring it to you on air and our Fox 61 News app as well. More college students across the country joining the call for their schools to disclose and divest from companies that have ties to the Israel-Hamas war. Here in Connecticut, Wesleyan University is the newest location for protests.
Yeah, students began a sit-in last night. Fox 61's Brooke Griffin is live in Middletown on the campus right now. So, Brooke, what are these students asking for?
Yeah, so these Wesleyan students here are joining the UConn and Yale campuses and taking part of those protests. You can see a few of them are awake now and up and about to kind of get started on what is technically day 2 of this protest now. They say that they're asking for the schools to be transparent when it comes to how their tuition dollars are being spent. They say that's their biggest goal here. Here at Wesleyan, students set up those tents and chairs last night, Those are behind North and South colleges to begin that protest. You can see that there. Now, they tell us that the group plans on staying here for as long as it takes to not only get a meeting on the books with university leaders, but they're waiting to actually see their demands met. These Middletown protesters are joining Yale and UConn students in those efforts to get their schools to spend their money and use their resources just a little differently. They're asking for the school to be transparent on how the university's money is being spent. And on that note, they also want the school to divest from any sort of war-related organization. They want to end all academic and study abroad programs that are in Israel, prevent the military branches and weapons manufacturing companies from recruiting here on campus, protect students who chose to protest the war, and let them act on their right of free speech without any sort of penalty. So that's the list of 4 demands that they currently have. Now, the Council on American Islamic Relations held a webinar yesterday that was to educate students on their rights as we head into a 3rd week of protests that are happening across the country.
If a school, for example, is forbidding your MSA from saying Free Palestine, we want to know about that. That's, that kind of really silly regulation of speech is, I think, something that, might it invites a legal challenge.
And right now, there's no word on whether or not the university leaders are going to meet with these students. Nothing of that sort yet. It's also still very early in this protest, a little over 12, 13 or so hours that they've been here now. So we are hoping to speak with those university leaders today, and we'll have an update on that as we can. Live in Middletown, Brooke Griffin, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Brooke, thanks so much. We'll check back throughout the morning for sure. Well, meantime, at 6:06 on the other side of the country, people are gathering on the campus of UCLA to speak their minds about the ongoing war in Gaza. Pro-Israel and pro-Palestinian rallies took place yesterday with both sides yelling back and forth. Now, in some of these cases, there were moments of discussion between members on each side. A third group was also there calling for a ceasefire and the release of hostages.
I'm standing here to show that there's a third option. We don't have to pick sides. There is so much generational collective trauma for Jews and for Palestinians. And I think the only way we can come together is to really hear one another, to acknowledge our pain.
By the afternoon, campus police worked to clear out the crowds, and no arrests were reported.
Breaking overnight, Israel launching airstrikes in Rafah. At least 22 people reportedly dead, according to the Palestinian health officials, 5 children among them. Israel has routinely carried out strikes on Rafah since the war began and comes as the military considers invading the city. Meantime, President Biden speaking with Israel's prime minister over the weekend by phone. We'll have more on their conversation and what it could mean for the war in Gaza coming up in about 10 minutes.
Back here at home, a man accused of killing his daughter's dog is expected to appear in court today. 51-year-old Arnaldo Silva is considering a plea deal that prosecutors offered him last month. We're still working to find out the terms of this offer. Silva is accused of stabbing the dog last November in North Branford. His daughter tells us that she's working with advocates to fight against animal abuse. Affordable housing on the minds of so many people across the state, including tenants facing eviction, even though they paid their rent. People who live at the Ivy Court Apartments in Groton rallied last night. They say that they were given 30 days to find a new place to live. They say a New York property management company recently took over and didn't give an explanation. The tenants say that they're struggling to find a place to live, and they're afraid that they're going to have to leave Groton because the rent is just too high.
People who have got long-standing roots in Groton, many of whom have lived in the complex for 10 years or more, suddenly having to uproot their lives and find any place to live because a new, out-of-state landlord bought the property and likely has intentions to drastically increase the rent.
The group is calling on state lawmakers to pass a bill that would prohibit these types of evictions in Connecticut. The union says lawmakers need to act fast as this year's legislative session wraps up in just 10 days.
A man is dead after state police say his car crashed into a tree and caught fire in Hebron. The crash happening on West Street near the intersection of Carlswood Road just before 10 yesterday morning. 20-year-old Anthony Cardello of East Hartford pronounced dead at the scene. Not clear what led up to that crash.
Well, if you weren't at the carnival at the Connecticut Post Mall in Milford yesterday, you may have noticed extra security. The carnival boosted its police presence and added restrictions after a threat forced it to shut down on Saturday. The carnival runs through Sunday, May 5th. If you plan to go, take note of these changes. Bags, well, they're no longer allowed, and kids under 18 years old have to be accompanied by an adult and present an ID.
Unfortunately, in the world we live in today, we just can't live in fear. We could take precaution, and we have done everything to do that. We've upped our security. People can come here and feel safe, and that's what we want them to do here. And like I say, you could just glance around and see all the security that we have here. And we want to keep the troublemakers out of here. We don't allow them to stay in here. If they're causing trouble, they're asked to leave.
Carnival workers say shutting down on Saturday hurt many of them financially, as many of them earn their entire living off of these shows.